Have you ever go to Texas and go to a church in Texas and everybody in that church votes Republican? Everybody in that church votes Republican because they are members of the devil. They are members of the devil. And y'all like, oh, that's mean. You shouldn't say those kind of things. I know them by their fruits. They claim that they know Jesus. They are liars. Because Jesus tells us, if they don't keep the commandments of God, if they don't live in the Spirit of God, how can they know him? If they don't know the Spirit of God, how do I know they don't know the Spirit of God? They put a felon in a White House. They put a felon in a White House who's a felon, a pedophile, and they talking about they know Jesus. Nah, they don't know Jesus. So when you go to a Republican church and everybody votes Republican, you need to run away. You talking about the synagogue of Satan? That is the synagogue of Satan. Synagogue and Satan knows his own kind, so they vote for their kind in the White House. In the White House, what do you got? A felon, a pedophile? So conservatives, I know who you are. You don't know Jesus. You a liar. You can't fool me. Maxwell, Epstein's wife, was in prison in Florida. And so they don't want their tracks out. They don't want their deeds out in public. So they gave her a deal to shut her up. So they moved her into a child detention center. And she's probably the oldest woman there in a child detention center in Texas with minimum security. Why would you do that for? You pedophile. You pedophile Republicans. Why would you do that? I know what I'm talking about. So if you walk into a Republican church in Texas or a Republican church in any other state, and they talking about they know Jesus, they don't know Jesus. A person that knows Jesus don't vote for felons and pedophiles. Because you see, that's what they want. They want the devil's ways. They live by the devil's ways. And they come in sheep's clothing, but inwardly, they're wolves. They don't know God. They're liars. I know the devil when I see the devil. That is the devil. I know that he is not, doesn't match the spirit of Jesus. You come to me with all your Bibles and stuff like that, and you're going to invite me to your conservative church. No, y'all love criminals. Oh, no. They voted for Barabbas. No, they're not into Jesus. They voted for Barabbas. Man, this guy's worse than Barabbas. Can't trust a Republican. Love Donald Trump. They love Donald Trump. Man, you go to Texas, man, they love Donald Trump. They love some Republicans. They love Barabbas over Jesus. They love Barabbas over Jesus. They love Donald Trump. And you know them by their works. And you know them by their spirit. So when you in Jesus, you have the same spirit of Jesus. These people have the same spirit of Donald Trump. They have the same spirit as Donald Trump. They helped Donald Trump cover up his stuff too. Look at Epstein's wife. Maxwell, she was in a prison in Florida. She was in a high security prison in Florida. Now they moved her into a child detention center in Texas. So she won't snitch on Trump. These are pedophiles. But you want me to go to a Republican church or a conservative church with some evangelicals that vote Republican, and they think they know Jesus? No, they know the devil, and they love the devil's ways, but they don't know Jesus. They don't even know the character of Jesus. If Jesus was running for president right now, right, and his name wasn't Jesus, right? His name was Yeshua, right? So you have Yeshua and you have Donald Trump. They'll pick Donald Trump over Jesus. How do I know? Because they don't want a black man in office. Fox News will be saying all types of stuff about Jesus. They did it to Barack Obama. Talking about Barack Obama was not born in the United States. He was the 12th imam. What do you think they're going to say about Jesus if Jesus was running for president as a black man, but his name wasn't Jesus? His name was Yeshua. Yeshua going against Donald Trump. I'm telling you, these Republicans are the devil. And they talking about they know Jesus. They don't know Jesus. They know Barabbas. They know Barabbas. All they know is the right to carry. That's their God right there. The right to carry, that's their God. A bunch of pedophiles. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if the United States diplomats was molesting children in Gaza. It would not surprise me if you came out and you find out that the diplomats of the United States were molesting children in Gaza. That wouldn't surprise me. And they all probably got their job from Donald Trump. Donald Trump put those child molesters in there. They put those child molesters in there, in the White House. So it wouldn't surprise me if Israel was, Netanyahu was blackmailing Donald Trump. You let me do what I want. I'm going to tell the whole world, you're messing with little girls. It wouldn't surprise me. Your diplomats are messing with little girls. That would not surprise me. I'm not saying this is going on. I'm saying if this did happen, it wouldn't surprise me. All right? I'm not saying this is going on. I'm not saying that this is going on, but it would not surprise me if it was going on. But what I do know is Republicans don't know Jesus. So if you go to a Republican church and they said they know Jesus, they'll be like, how could you? How could you? I know who you are by who you vote for. You don't know no Jesus, man. I can't trust a Republican. Y'all need to stop voting. Y'all been voting for since I've been voting for a long time. And ain't nothing working. Vote for Jesus and live in God. When you're living in God, you understand. You living in his kingdom. You voting for his kingdom. You guys are going to learn. You guys are going to learn. You're going to learn. Don't look at me. I don't even vote. Never voted in my life. Never voted for any president in my life. Never voted. I'm an alien. I just live here and I'm waiting for Jesus to come and get me. I'm an alien. I don't get involved with you guys. You fake Republican. Republicans. They love to carry weapons. You see them gathering around, collecting immigrants. And they talk about they know Jesus. You a liar, you a murderer, and you are the children of the devil. That's how I think about Republicans. They are liars, they are murderers, and they're children of the devil. You know them by their ways. Don't allow Fox News and CBN pray for you. Pray for them. Because you are a liar, you are a murderer, and you are the children of the devil. CBN, Fox News Channel. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for you because you don't know Jesus. Well, you do know Donald Trump. You do know Barabbas. But you don't know Jesus. You don't know Jesus. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. You don't know who you're playing with. Republicans. Pray for you. Fox News talking about pray for you. I'm going to pray for you, but you don't pray for me. Don't pray for me. I don't need no devil to pray for me. I'm going to pray for you so you know Jesus, actually know Jesus. And those who love Jesus keep his commands and live in his spirit. So don't be fooled by Fox News Channel and CBN when they talk about Jesus. They don't know who Jesus is. Don't go to no conservative church talking about they Republicans inside the church. Who votes for felons, child molesters, and pedophiles. Think about it. Think about it. You liar, you murderer, you children of the devil. I said it. Security team is telling me to stay on stage because the Republicans are upset. They have been exposed because I call them the children of the devil. So now they're calling me king. And you're like, why are they calling me king? Because they don't know that is the definition of nigger in Ethiopia. So I love it. I love it. Keep calling me king. I love it. I love it. And I told you, don't mess with me. I ain't the one to be played with. I'll make your wife divorce you and expose you. Because you know you don't spend time with your wife. You're working all day long trying to figure out how to destroy me, how to get rid of me. You at work all day long trying to figure out how to do some wicked to some people. You don't want to mess with me. You don't want to mess with me. I'll torment your wicked conscience. I will torment your wicked conscience until you commit suicide. You don't want to mess with me. Your own conscience. I'll make your own conscience torment you. I know the power I have. I'm not Malcolm X. I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm not Farrakhan. I know who I am, and I'm not to be played with. And I know my power. So Republicans, you can sue me. Suing me, I don't have no money. You can sue me. I don't do nothing for money. You can get a gag order. In fact, this comedy special is not for money. So anybody who watches comedy special, you can share it with all your friends. You can download it, re-upload it. You can do whatever you want with this comedy special. You have my permission. So President Trump, I don't care about your gag order. I don't care about your lawsuit. If you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile. The truth is going to come out. Suing me is like, you don't know who you're playing with. Suing me is like suing your salvation. Suing me is like suing your salvation. Because you're thinking about what type of wickedness you want to do to Trey Knowles. I'm not the one to be played with. I told you, I am not Malcolm X. I am not Martin Luther King. I'm Trey Knowles, and I'm a child of God, and I know who I am. And I know what type of power I have. Republicans. I know who you are. You a murderer. You a liar. You the child of the devil. Someone you know Jesus. You don't know Jesus. In fact, do Jesus even know you? You're wicked. I ain't the one to be played with. So do what you do. Do what you do. Keep calling me king.